I would request Professor Chandan Bose now to briefly talk about the FOSSEE activities that we are taking up at present and our future plans.
So let me introduce me very briefly for those who doesn't know me. I'm Chandan Bose. I'm an assistant professor of aerospace engineering in University of Birmingham, UK, and also I'm a visiting faculty here, particularly with the role of leading the CFD activities open forum project of FOSSEE. So I just wanted to follow up the discussion we were having on the role of FOSSEE on particularly highlighting some of the activities that we are currently focusing so that we can ask some feedback from the IITB community. So what should we continue and what we should add as a new activity and what is the basic impact of this activity so that we can reach out to more and more open forum or open source CFD enthusiasts. And the other part is, should we keep it confined only with open forum or be open with other open source tools for CFD and other things. So just I won't take much time because I think we started late, and apologies for that to everybody on behalf of the FOSSEE team. We have already known the teams here, so I am basically, it's my honor to lead this activity in the India, because I always feel that this is one of its kind in terms of its project for promoting open source tools and codes for particularly computational fluid dynamics education. I'm working with Professor Manashita Bose and Professor Siva from IIT Bombay, and also Professor Janani is always in support of us for promoting these activities. And we have, of course, Ms. Pyle and other FOSSEE project managers, and we have a wonderful team of research assistants who are working full-time and part-time in this. Particularly, we have two different activities. One is promoting the education of open forum in terms of users and development, but on the other hand, we also are interested in a novel development of graphical user interface. So we basically have two different teams working mostly on open forum activities, developing the code and promoting its users for different application. On the other hand, we are also trying to develop a graphical user interface, which is, we feel there is a need, particularly when we interface it with industrial partners, because they would want a graphical user interface. There are different other efforts going on throughout globally, and we are trying to just contribute to that if possible from FOSSEE team. So I just want to give some basic level of statistics on in 2025, what are the different activities that we carried out throughout this project. We started with semester-long internship, which was quite demanding in terms of application, although we had a strict screening process, but we got a lot of applications, and ultimately we had 10 projects in semester-long internship for open forum codes and development, and 3 projects for graphical user interface development. Then we had summer fellowship. There also we had 11 plus 3, total 14 summer fellowship projects, and all these projects are updated in the FOSSEE open forum website as case studies or research migration project. And also we ended the year with some autumn and winter fellowships, where there are some ongoing projects with 9 and 2, total 11 projects, which will be submitted very soon in January and will be updated in the website. Apart from that, we also support outside these fellowships. We encourage people to learn open forum and work with us and submit case studies, project and research migration project, particularly with a major focus to validate the code and verify the code with existing experimental results and literature. And we have also ongoing lab migration project with different private engineering colleges, where they're actually adopting open forum for their CFD labs. And we carried out basic level of workshop on open forum at the start of 2025, and tomorrow we are having intermediate to advanced level of workshop. We had a faculty development program, and for the first time we had an industry readiness workshop, where we invited different industry CFD engineers to come and talk to us what kind of application they would like open forum to be used, and how we can increase the employability of Indian budding engineers who are learning CFD and open forum. And we try to understand how open source code, how much demand it is creating in the Indian industry sector. in that sense. So basically, these are some of the clips that I've got. We promoted it over LinkedIn, and I just collected some of the photos. Professor Kannan, along with the team, also did some podcast about open foam just to make it more visible in terms of industrial sector. And yes, so just wanted to highlight, I just put all the topics on ChatGPT and tried to understand what are the different topics that we have covered in our case studies and things. It's not perfect, but I just wanted to get a glimpse of areas, and it's quite encouraging to see that we have actually covered different aspects. It's quite diverse. Particularly, I guide projects on aerodynamics and fluid structure interaction. We have other faculty partners who guide project on multi-phase flow, heat transfer, and also different type of application-oriented engineering, as well as numerical methods and MES. So it is quite encouraging to see that in terms of topics that the students are being offered are quite diverse, and not only that, in terms of participation from different institutes in India are also quite diverse, not only from premier institutes like IIT and IT, lot of smaller engineering colleges people, they come and present and work and present their work, as well as we have a very good diversity in terms of males and females interns who come to us, and which is quite encouraging to see. So as I already said, that in future we are going to continue the development of activities of intermediate to advanced level of training, which is the way to go, because we have done for many years basic level of trainings, but now we have to go towards the developmental side. And of course, the graphical user interface in another thing, and there's some discussion that we are thinking along with all our faculty partners, can we create a MOOC on national NPTEL kind of level, so that it remains a resource for all the students. And we now have gathered a lot of materials that we have offered workshops for years, but can we make it a national level resource for the students? And it cannot be done by one people, so we need to come up all together. All the partners and faculty partners can come together, and from their expertise they can create this. So we hope to go towards intermediate to advanced level, and we want to go industry readiness workshop 2.0 in 2026, and also we want to release and publicize more the GUI Venturial that is getting developed within the FOSSEE CFD project. Now, there is not much of a time, but I want to just highlight some of the challenges. If there are time permits, I would like to discuss as part of also the panel discussion that I just discussed with Professor Siva, that how can we give a little bit more resource to the interns rather than just some old workstation, because they struggle a lot going beyond their own laptop. So if we can get some resource from NSM or other national projects for particularly dedicated for interns, that will be quite good. And then, of course, what I felt over the last 2 years is the quality of the selected interns and the quality of the output that we generate. One is the number, that how many case studies we are generating, but other is the quality. Whether they are really of well quality to publicize in the global level, or to tell the world that we are doing this kind of work. So, and how can we actually get more encouraged or more good quality students, etc. And of course, one more important, which is it's a high time to do it, is the version control of whatever we have already done for the last 10 years, let's say, for whole throughout this FOSSEE project. We have 200 plus case studies and codes and everything, but most of them does not work with the newer version of the code. So how do we make it at par with the newer version of OpenFOAM, which people can use directly? And for example, this kind of Venturial kind of new development, how can we track this development as part of our evidence of the project outputs? With these notes, which we can discuss again at the end of the day, I would welcome our speakers for the day, and I'm looking forward to listen to their talks and activities. Thank you.